at become an expert in conflict resolution as you increase your income and your impact. I also want to say it's a way to increase the joy in your life and in your career. My name is Linda Kroll. I'm a therapist. I'm an internal family systems therapist for over 35 years. I'm a mediator, attorney. I'm a Chopra Certified Teacher of Meditation, Yoga, and Ayurveda. I wrote the book, Compassionate Mediation, How to Add Passion to Your Marriage or Compassion to Your Divorce. And if you have to leave early, there is a free book chapter at lindakrollbook.com. So anything that I'm talking about will be in the book, plus a lot more. So stay tuned because I want to help you expand your expertise starting today. So I have trained hundreds of therapists and I've helped thousands of individuals and couples in my 35 years as an IFS therapist, mediator, attorney. And my transformational process of compassionate mediation is one that I want to offer you. So some of the tips I'm going to give you today are how to do a first interview, how to teach your clients how to compassionately communicate, how to maintain your higher self in the middle of conflict, and anything else you want me to know that you put in the comments. So let's take a deep breath and begin because I'm grateful you're here. You have a lot of places to be, but in this next 20 minutes, I want to make sure you have something to use that you can take with you. And I need to tell you that a passion of mine is to make this world a safer place for divorce. When we think about all the conflict in the world, and then we total up all the damage done by the conflict in relationships, it is phenomenal. And I always say families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. So whether you work with an individual, whether you work with couples, I want to give you a skill set that you can use now. And if you're a therapist, sometimes a client comes to you and they don't know if they want to stay or go. And you may not have the confidence or the skill set or the information to talk with them about their options. What would happen if they decided to leave? What would they do about the house, money, parenting? I want to give you some of that information today and tell you how to find out more later. If you're a coach, you might be studied in how to coach people, but you don't have an expertise that sets you apart. In my compassionate mediation coaching certification that I'll tell you more about later, you get that expertise. So if you're looking to increase your impact and your income, it's because you'll acquire a skill set that other people don't have. Because compassionate mediation is more than marriage counseling. It's more than divorce mediation. It's a combination. It's a combination where we help people get to their best self, their higher self, their spiritual center, where they let go of all the limiting beliefs and judgments that they've taken on about themselves and their partner, where they unburden the pain from their past and they relate from their heart. And I give you all the skills and all the tools and all the handouts and all the videos to do that with your clients. But let's take a deep breath and imagine that a client comes to you. And if you're a mediator, they come to you in the middle of their dysfunction, and you have to kind of be the referee of how they communicate. I want to give mediators and attorneys a new skill set so that they can help their clients really communicate with empathy and compassion, even about the most serious and dramatic and hurtful issues. So whether it's sex, money, children, parenting, what to do with the house, maybe there's an affair, maybe there's an addiction, you have the skills to help in all those situations. So let's take a breath and just imagine that you have a couple coming into your office or an individual coming into your office and they want some help and they're having problems with someone in their life. And usually what a client comes to me and maybe comes to you is what they want to do is they want to complain. They want to come in, tell you their story, have you listen to their story, probably have you take their side. And then they feel marginally better because they've been compassionately witnessed by you. But I have a first interview with a set of questions that makes you an expert in getting the overview, in helping them understand what they are doing to contribute to the problem, in helping them understand how their family of origin and their partner's family of origin has affected how they're relating in their relationship. I give you a script for a guided meditation to help people get to self. And I'll tell you later how to get access to that meditation. But that's all in the Compassionate Mediation certification. You can go to lindakroll.com/certify at any time and learn more. And I'll tell you other ways in which you can reach me. So with the initial interview that I give you to give your clients, you ask them a set of questions. So I'll give you a little heads up on what those questions are. And usually what happens in an initial interview, whether I'm working with an individual who's come all fraught with feelings, or I've got a couple. And if I have a couple, then I'll talk to them alone together for a few minutes, just introduce myself, get a little information out of the way. When I used to have an office, a live office, I had a waiting room and I'd keep one person and then take the other one. Now I have a Zoom room. So I put them into different rooms and I interview them each separately. And the reason I want to interview them each separately after I've done a little introduction is because they can actually put their guard down and let me know what's going on. And for you, when you have a new client, it's hard sometimes to take control of the first interview, meaning you want to build a rapport. You want to get them to feel comfortable. You want them to know you understand and you're there to help them. But on the other hand, you're not quite sure if they can understand what's going on with you. Hold on one second. Meaning you want to build a rapport. So what you're going to do is you're going to allow yourself. So what you're going to do in that first interview is to allow yourself to ask some specific questions. And this is how I usually do it. I usually say to the couple or the individual that I listen for maybe 5 minutes and they're going to go off into their story. But they're so emotional oftentimes, and they've been telling their story in their own heads for so long, and probably to anybody that would listen to them. So I will listen compassionately, and then I will stop for a moment and say, I really want to hear all about what you want to tell me. But I also have some questions for you that I think will help me even help you more, because I could listen to you for the next 45 minutes, but then you'll leave just feeling marginally better. I want to give you a new perspective, if that's okay, and a little more information that would help. So then I go into my questions. I do it gently, I do it compassionately, but I do it firmly in terms of me being in control of the session. Because the questions that I ask are these. I ask them to tell me what's going on. What does their partner do that bothers them? What do they do that bothers their partner? How do they react? How does their partner react? And then I'll ask them a few questions about their family of origin. What was their mother like? What was their father like? What was the relationship with siblings? And I'm trying to get a background, just a very quick background. Was there addiction? Was there abuse? Were there family secrets? What was the milieu in which they were brought up? And then I invite them to tell me about their partner's parents and family of origin, because that gives me some insight into how their partner was raised. And it often gives the one I'm speaking with some more of a compassionate perspective of how their partner's raised, because when they realize that their partner was raised by an alcoholic father and they were possibly verbally abused, it makes more sense why they aren't in touch with their feelings, why they can't really communicate the way they would like them to. So just asking those questions in what is usually a 15-minute interview each at best. I then ask them 2 more questions. One question is the magic wand question, and I give that to you to use right now. The magic wand question is basically, if you had a magic wand, what would you like to see happen? Whether you're working with an individual or one member of a couple, it's very telling to see what they say. Because sometimes they may say, in a perfect world, we'd forgive each other and we'd stay together. Sometimes they may say, in a perfect world, or not in a perfect world, I wish I could just get divorced and be done. And I then know how to help each partner, because I tell the person who wants to leave that if they don't take time to process the feelings that got them here, they could go file for divorce, but their partner, who still doesn't want a divorce or to separate, could stall the process, and then lawyers get involved, and then it gets very expensive. So if the initiator, the person who wants to leave, is invested in leaving, I help them find the space to talk compassionately about what got them there. And for the person who is saying, I don't want to leave, I don't want to destroy my family, I help them understand that if their partner has thought about leaving, they have to be willing to talk about leaving. Otherwise, their partner is going to drop out of counseling, go file for divorce, and they won't have any time to process. So the beauty of compassionate mediation is that the skills I give you to give your clients help you help them talk about everything. And in that first session, after I've given the questions, after I've asked the magic wand question, I then ask them, what is their word for spiritual? So I'm not looking for religious. I'm looking for a word, a vernacular that I can use. For some people, it's higher power. For some people, it's God. For some people, it's nature, universe. I'm trying to get a word to use because I'm going to introduce them to the concept of their higher self, capital S self. And in internal family systems, which I adore, I've been a 35-year practitioner. Dick Schwartz has led us in thinking that self is composed of 8 C's: calm, clear, compassionate, curious, connected, confident, courageous, creative, and I always add grateful. So we're going for that energy instead of the parts of ourselves. And I'll tell you more about self and parts. Because once I've interviewed each of them and gotten their vernacular, because let us say they do use the word God or higher power, and I will say to them, where is God? And they will say, everywhere. And I ask, everywhere, including in you? Yes. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a higher self. Because when you are, quote, in self, you show up in your relationship in a different way. And that's why compassionate mediation is different. I often say that looking at an ending often gives you the courage to create a new beginning. A lot of times people get divorced when they should stay, could stay if they knew how, and other people stay when they probably should leave, but they're afraid they don't have the information. But when you get certified in compassionate mediation, when you become this expert, then you can help them navigate these discussions from their highest self. And what I do when I put them back together is I introduce the concept of self and parts. You ready? Here's my 2-minute blurb. Okay. So whether I'm with an individual, whether I've just taken an interview with both parties of the couple, I say this. I say, I believe we all have a healthy self, capital S self. And when we're in self, we're calm, clear, and compassionate. You know those moments? They're just moments. We're not always in our higher self. Instead, we're in parts. Parts that we exile, push aside, parts that we manage with and show the world, and parts that we get extreme with. And what that means is if we feel sad or scared or hurt or vulnerable, we push it aside. We exile it. We don't want to feel that. And instead, we go out and we manage. We can manage by being nice, pleasing, caretaking, hardworking. We can manage a lot of different ways, but many people manage by putting on what I call a pseudo self, where you look like you're in self, but you're really feeling these feelings exiled underneath, and you don't know how to manage them. So when you can't manage those exiled feelings, people act out in extreme ways. They eat too much, drink too much, get enraged, put a wall around their heart, get depressed, have panic attacks, maybe go have an affair. There's ways that they react that are dysfunctional on some level, but then you can focus on what you just did and feel bad about it, and you've still managed to exile all those feelings. So I tell the individual or the couple that until this moment, they have done the best they knew how to do. But now they can learn how to do differently. And I mentioned using the details they just gave me. So, John, when Mary nags at you, what do? I shut down. And when he shuts down, Mary, what do? I get angrier. Right. So when you get angry and when you shut down and when you get anxious and when one or both of you have thought about leaving, what's happening in your body? Somatic. We go inside. And I say it tightens, right? Well, I want to give you a way to feel what being in self feels like. And the way to be in self is a meditation that I then give them. And what I do in that meditation, and I'll tell you later how to get it, is help them understand by going inside that they are holding on to a lot of feelings that they haven't acknowledged. And they have behaved in a certain way that is defensive, but it's also aggressive sometimes, or passive aggressive to their partners. So once they can understand that there is a way to relate to their feelings with compassion for themselves first, then eventually, especially after that meditation, we get to the top of the mountain where their parts are all relaxed and they send compassion in the direction of the other party. And that reminds me of a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh was a great spiritual leader, and he said that to reconcile conflicting parties, we must have the ability to understand the suffering of both sides. If we take sides, it's impossible to do the work of reconciliation, and humans want to take sides. That is why the situation gets worse and worse. Are there people who are still available to both sides? They need not do much. They only do one thing. Go to the first side and tell all about the suffering endured by the other side. And go to the other side and tell all about the suffering endured by this side. That is our chance for peace. That can change the situation. And that's what we do in compassionate mediation. And you can go to lindakroll.com roadmap to get a roadmap of the process. But the reason I wanted to show you that quote is because it's so important to understand that your role is to stay neutral. Your role is to stay in self. So I know when I first started my practice a long, long time ago, I'm always a recovering codependent, meaning I always wanted to please, fix, save, rescue. My father, talking about family of origin influence, my father was a manic depressive, and he was always available to me to begin to yell a lot. And when he yelled a lot, it made it very hard. It made it very hard to function. Am I still on? Sorry about that, technical difficulties. I was telling you about my father. My father was a manic depressive who yelled a lot. And when he yelled a lot, it made me very afraid of anger. So when I became a therapist, I got triggered by my clients' anger. And as I got triggered, I found myself either afraid to set boundaries. I sometimes found myself siding with the quiet partner. I was traumatized on some level until I learned how to take care of my exiles, get support for myself, and show up in a way that allowed me to see the angry participant as someone who was in pain. And there's a great statue of the inner child that shows what I look at when I see a client who's angry or sad. Is there's an inner child just yearning to be seen. And I help each party understand that no matter what their partner is showing them, how matter obnoxious they're being, if they went and had an affair, if they're using drugs or alcohol, that there's still a human being in there who's very sad, very hurt, very scared, just like they are. Now, they may not be able to stay together. They may have to leave, but there's a way to leave with compassion. So in my compassionate mediation coaching certification, I give you all these tools. I give you the tools to learn how to do this initial interview, do the meditation, and help them learn how to share empathy. I give you a handout on the miracle of empathy and a few tips on empathy. Usually people don't talk with I messages. They talk with you messages. You always do this, you never do that. And of course, their partner is listening and fact checking and defending and reacting. So I have a handout that I give my clients, that I give you, where it teaches them how to speak for their exiled feelings, how to talk about how sad they are or scared they are or hurt they are, and to teach the person who's listening how to listen from their higher self, not reactive, not defensive, not rationalizing, but truly listening from an open heart, where they can hear their partner use words like hurt, sad, and scared. where they can understand, even if they don't agree, where they can understand this is their partner's perspective, and where they can make amends, when they can say, I'm sorry. And sometimes I'm sorry is an apology for something they did or didn't do. And sometimes it's just an existential reaction from a heart to a heart that the other person's suffering. I'm sorry. I don't want you to feel that way. I want to create a new relationship in which you don't feel that way. And I'm sorry. And the first party who's finally had the courage to talk about their feelings instead of their judgments says thank you. And in the future, here's what I'd like to see. And then they make a request, and then they negotiate that request, and they do that with your help. And whether you're a therapist, a coach, a mediator, an attorney, clergy, you have a lot of education. You have a lot of skills. This is a unique skill set. I've been doing this for 35 years. My practice is full. And because every time I met someone new, whether they came to me for individual counseling, couples counseling, or divorce counseling and mediation, I always did the same interview. I always did the same questions. I always did the same meditation. And I always had the experience, truly, with hundreds, maybe thousands now of people, of them walking out of my office with a little more hope, with a little more peace, with a little more of that higher self energy that I shared with them and they shared with each other, even if it was through me, even if it was just by example. They got to feel that just because it's been dysfunctional doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And they don't have to keep blaming themselves or each other. And they can learn a new way to communicate. And if they communicate and find that they're not compatible, that's what happened with my husband and me. I was married to my college sweetheart for 20 years. And when it looked like we were headed in separate directions, sadly, there wasn't compassionate mediation then. There was only counseling that didn't work. And then there were attorneys that worked too hard. So after a very long separation and a very difficult divorce, I sat in the courtroom next to my soon-to-be ex-husband, who I still loved, and thought there had to be a better way. There had to be a better way to end a marriage where two people once loved each other forever. And I wrote a prayer the night before that I brought to court that morning. I gave it to my soon-to-be ex and his lawyer and my lawyer. And basically it said that I pray that we come from our higher self, that the pain and the sadness and the anger and the resentments could be quelled by the compassion and the love that we once had for each other, that our children could feel comfortable in two loving homes. And for the sake of all that we once had and all we hope to share in the future, we forgive each other and wish each other well, and know that as much as we can, we came from our hearts. So I have that to share with you, the prayer, the intention, because we can make a difference. And I know that you are talented in what you do. And when I offer the training, it's not to solve a pain point necessarily. I mean, you may have enough clients, you may have enough education, but it's really to offer you a new experience, to offer you a community where you're going to feel supported, inspired, nurtured, where when we get together for our certification meetings, you can process your own work. You can process some of your clients. And what you do in the compassionate mediation certification is you basically have a therapist, mediator, attorney, spiritual coach, and mentor in your back pocket, because that's who I become for you. The groups are very small, they're very intimate, so that I can start with what I have to offer you, but then also take what your goals are and integrate it into the process. Excuse me. So if you want to start groups, if you want to add more clients, if you want to find out how best to network, that's also part of the certification. We talk about how to reach out to other professionals, other lawyers, therapists, mediators, and how to share that you now have an expertise that other people don't. Because when they come see you, they don't have to decide, I want to stay together, even though it's part of me that's out the door. Nor do they have to decide, I have to get divorced just because my partner wants a divorce and it's too confusing and I don't know what to do. But you teach them how to compassionately communicate. And then once they compassionately communicate, they can talk about everything, because there are needs of the heart that everyone has: attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. And people don't often get that. But I do believe that families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. So say that with me. Families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. That's what I want to help you help others do, because you will have the skill set to do that. I do believe we can change the face of divorce one heart at a time. And whatever your reason for being here, whether you want to make your own relationship better, whether you want to feel more fulfilled in your career, or even have more fun in your career, or get more clients for more financial stability, I want to help you create the dream you want. That's my goal: to create an environment where you feel you have everything you need to create the life you want. So I hope you'll learn more. I hope you'll join me. And there are questions that I can answer for you, including, how do you do all this? Well, there's a roadmap. I want to give you access to the roadmap, because if you go to lindakroll.com roadmap, there's the outline of my process on how to be your best self, help your clients or yourself, works for both. Be the best self, create a compassionate relationship, explore their options, understand their rights and finances, and create the relationship they truly desire and deserve. And again, I give you the information for you to give to your clients. So, for instance, if you're a therapist, you can't give legal advice, but what you can do is give some information to your clients that will allow them to begin to think about what would happen if we got divorced. And even in the thinking about it, you help them process. For instance, you don't have to be a mediator, you don't have to be an attorney, but you can allow people to think about that at some point they have to start talking about their finances. They have to get on the same page. Where are their excuse me, where are their assets? What is their income? What are their debts? What's their budget? You don't have to go down this road with them, because I'll tell you the truth. Once you bring up money, you can have weeks of processing the feelings around money, because they've had different roles their whole lives and they're looking to become equal partners now. And the emotions get in the way. So I give you the content piece by piece, so you can help your clients with the process. You can help them process the feelings that they need to process to make informed, enlightened, empowered decisions for their future. And then I help you explore their options. Because if you're dealing with people in conflict, most of them are black and white. I either have to stay where I don't want to be, or I want to get divorced, but I don't want to get divorced. So they stay stuck. But there are so many options. There's counseling, individual or couples. There's date night. There's a separation without any need for any legalities. There's a legal separation. Let's go back. There's a postnuptial. Instead of a prenuptial, you can tell them they can create a postnuptial, and I give you the tools to help you have those conversations. And there's a legal separation and a divorce. Again, it may feel overwhelming to think about learning all these new pieces of information, but it's all templated, it's all outlined, it's all in manuals, it's all available in videos on my Compassionate Communication Academy. And you work with me to both integrate this knowledge and practice it, so it becomes a hands-on, let's go out and use it now. It's not like we have to spend months just getting the theory and then what do you do with it? It's an ongoing beginning of a new career for you, or in addition to the career you have now. And truly, it's from my heart to your heart. I am much older than I look. I'm 77, yay. And I've been practicing for a very long time. My practice is full. And I feel that the importance of the message, the importance of this process, is one that I am passionate about sharing. And I am selective about who gets into the certification, because the people that are in the certification are all highly qualified, very educated, very self-aware, and spiritual people who are here to make a difference in the world. Because I do believe that we are all channels of love and beacons of light. I know that sounds corny, but I'll put it out there anyway. Because you have your expertise, you have your wisdom, and we're not always sure how to get it out there, how to be seen, how to share it. And we are beacons of light. We're all there to light the way for someone who may still be in the dark. Maybe it's through our own experience, maybe it's through the new skill set you'll learn, but you turn your hand and you offer it to them to lead them through the maze of decisions that need to be made. But you help lead them from their higher self. And I give you the tools to help them look at their limiting beliefs so they can let them go. I give you tools to help them unburden the pain from the past using a lot of techniques that blend IFS therapy, higher consciousness, holographic memory resolution, somatic energy work. It's all built in, and I give that all to you. So I'm hoping you're going to want to learn more. And if you do and want to learn about the certification, you can go to lindakroll.com/certify and check out the details of the upcoming certification. The next certification is starting soon. You can still get in if you call soon. Otherwise, I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. You'd be on a wait list, but I'd really love for you to join this one. It's already got a great group of people in it. And I know that if this resonates with you at all, you will be a great addition. So I hope you find time for a brief chat with me. Like I said, it may not be for you, and I am selective. Hopefully you meet the criteria of being a heart-centered, which you must be if you're still on, a heart-centered professional who is open to learning new skills, who is open to sharing your wisdom and your light in a group. Because as much as I bring to the group, all the templates, scripts, videos, handouts, everything, manuals, everything that you'll need, you'll find that you'll gain just as much, if not more, from the other people in the group, because they are all exceptional. And so if this resonates, please find a time to talk to me, because there's so much more to share, so much more in the program. And just to remind you that teaching people empathy is part of what this is about. And also helping them go from connecting to their highest self, letting go of their limiting beliefs, unburdening pain from the past, and relating from their heart is what we help them do. And I give you the roadmap for all of that in lindakroll.com/roadmap. I give you a video and the roadmap of how to help people be their best self. Again, create a compassionate relationship, explore their options, understand their rights and finances, and create the relationship they truly desire and deserve. And just to remind you, yes, I do believe you're a channel of love. And if you're still here, you must find me corny, but tolerable. And you are a beacon of light. And that's what I want to help you be right now with the people that come to see you, because you are that light. You have so much to share. And I want to be your mentor for the next 3 months for sure, and then beyond, in helping you make your dreams come true. So I want to check to see if there's any comments. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I will get back to you or put them into the comment stream. And I'm giving you an invitation, a truly personal spiritual growth invitation. And I find that as a lifelong learner, I take many courses, some that I never get around to using, but my intention is to complete them. So in terms of left brain stuff, you'll have more than you'll need, but it's all there for you. And it's all there for you on your time frame. But more than that, I really want to create a community where people bring the light that you are into a synergistic community where our light goes out into the world to create healing. And when you think of all the individuals that are suffering, when you think of all the families that are destroyed, when you think of all the children, I always say we need to protect our children from the shrapnel of their parents' animosity. When you think of all the grandparents and the extended family and the friends that are all conflicted about what to do, what you do is you give your clients a reason to be kind, a reason to heal. I'm working with a couple now, and there's been an affair, and it's very painful to deal with co-parenting once it's come out. But my hope is that they can both sit down with their children and apologize for the energy that's been between them, and to let their children know that they're going to create a new relationship where they're both calm and kind and respectful, where they're both free to meet and date other people that are possibly going to be part of their children's lives, and they normalize that for their children, where they go to their parents and let their parents know, yes, we both made mistakes. Yes, we both acted poorly, but she is the parent of my children. I want you to forgive them. I want you to be kind. I want us all to be together on holidays. I want us all to be together on graduations and weddings and birthdays and births. It's possible. I've worked with clients who have gotten divorced and they still do Christmas together every year. They've traveled to their daughter's college and actually stayed in the same room when they weren't dating other people. There are ways to create a new paradigm for healing, and you can be the catalyst to make that happen. You can not only become an expert in conflict resolution, and because you will be an expert, you will have a well deserved reputation of being someone who can help families heal. So if you're an attorney, you'll be known for the fact that once someone gets divorced, their finances aren't destroyed, their family isn't destroyed, but you're the go to expert to help them learn a new way to communicate. In mediation, you won't get stuck refereeing because you'll be able to intervene in a way that actually gives them a template for better communication. If you're a coach, once again, you're going to be known for your expertise. You can let clergy know and therapists know and attorneys know that you have this expertise. You can give a group at a community center, so you introduce yourself, or at a church or a synagogue, and let people know about your expertise. And therapists, you will have a skill set that most therapists don't have. Because when you know compassionate mediation, part of my dream, if I may, is to say that whenever there is conflict, people will turn towards someone who knows compassionate mediation. People who can help them communicate about everything: money, sex, finances, responsibilities, parenting, where people can look at an ending. Because once you look at an ending, once you look at what's going to happen with the money and the house and the parenting, it's like a wake up call. It's like, do you really want to go down this path? Because if they knew what it entailed, I often say if people put as much work in working on themselves before they got divorced as they would have to do to get divorced, there'd be many more intact families. But it's not about, and I tell my clients this, it's not about fixing your marriage, okay? It's not about putting a Band-Aid on the problem. It's about creating a whole new marriage where you each come from your highest and best self, where you each are authentic with healthy boundaries, asking for what you want and need, being kind and respectful, giving each other the attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance that you need. And most of all, giving it to yourself first. I give you the words, I give you the tools, I give you the outlines, I give you the scripts. It's all there in the Compassionate Mediation Coaching Certification. I truly hope you'll want to learn more. And if you don't, sign up for a 15-minute call, and I'll give you the benefit of my 35 years of experience to help you in any way. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to check one more time to see what else I can share with you. And basically, it's a new world where there's so much going on, where there's so much conflict, so much heartache, so much pain, so much sadness, so much fear. Take a deep breath with me, or put your hand on your heart. And for many of you, you might be empaths. For many of you, You may be feeling the weight of the world. And for some of you, even thinking about a new certification is overwhelming. And what I'm saying to some of the people that are starting with me now who have this course they haven't finished, or this course or this one, is that the certification, the meetings we have are going to be in a way to put all that together, to take everything that you're learning and coalesce it into a future that includes whatever you want: more clients, more tools, more confidence, more network, more money, and most of all, more community. A community of like hearted professionals from all over the world, actually, who know that there is a better way to resolve conflict, and using the principles of internal family systems, helping yourself stay in self when you're working with a couple in conflict, helping them stay in self and heal their parts and speak for their parts instead of from their parts. You will learn how to do that. And you may be an IFS therapist already who already knows how to do this. I'd like to offer you more skills. I've given a training on compassionate mediation at every state in which IFS has had a conference. And my book is in their bookstore. So there is so much I appreciate about internal family systems. There's so much I've integrated into it. But what compassionate mediation is, then I'll let you go. Compassionate mediation is a way to help people emotionally and spiritually heal while giving them legal and financial information and support. So there's emotional and spiritual healing along with legal and financial information and support. We're healing relationships, we're healing families, we're healing extended families, and one by one, we're helping to heal the world. So I'm so grateful. If you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay, please reach out. Let me know how I can help you. And thank you so much for hanging in here with me so long. And I look forward to staying connected. Bye for now.